Hello there, friends. Time for another prop from the past. This is one of our most viewed videos.
It is. How many views does it have?
It is our third most popular video with 1.5 million views.
And those were like, that was like a slow growth.
Yeah, yeah.
5 years ago.
Right.
And it was like a couple years after it was out, I think it started really ramping up.
Mm-hmm.
So that was, I mean, like, view counts shouldn't mean that we like a video more or not, but it made us really appreciate that one.
Right, right. And especially because it's a video where it's teaching a very specific tool or how to make a very specific tool that's very useful. I designed it based off of a video that Fon Davis made a while back. In fact, I talk about it in this video, I'm sure. I feel a little bad because my video has a lot more views than Fon's, but I've talked to him. He said he appreciates the exposure. He also has a whole series, I believe, on the Stan Winston School. You have to pay for it, but a whole model making a vacuum forming machine, and an even more robust one over on the Stan Winston School, which is super awesome. We still use this machine too.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's our small version. I think I might have used this setup for my sweeper bot visor.
Yes.
Because the visor is small and like that tall, and this was like perfect shape for this.
Mm-hmm.
But it's for very small things.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so why don't we dive in and see how we made this vacuum forming machine.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to
hoodie.
the Prop Shop, your guide to...
That's my old hat in the background.
I'm Bill Duran, and today I'm going to show you how to make this adorable little vacuum
Isn't
forming
it
machine.
cute?
Vacuum form machines are extremely handy for props and costumes. If you want to make lightweight, hollow pieces like a mask or maybe like a shoulder piece, or if you want to make multiple copies of something, these things are really, really great to have. They vary in size and design. This one's really tiny, but you could just scale it up. Feel free to play fast and loose with this setup. This particular...
Since then, there have been a lot of like hobby vacuum forming machines that have come on the market.
Yeah.
And I would argue that if you're a hobbyist and you want to get into this, just make one like this.
I mean, they're getting a little better.
They're just really expensive still.
Yeah, like I was hoping that one would come out that has like a bigger base but has different size frames to hold smaller plastic, and it looks like some of the newer ones are trying to do that, but they're not quite there yet. But like,
and they're still really expensive.
Yeah.
Like in the more than $1,000 range.
I just want a machine that doesn't waste plastic for the amount of thing I want to make.
Yeah, which is why we've ended up building several, like 4 or 5 size platens for our various vacuum forming machines.
Yeah, since it's such an art form more than a science with the DIY stuff, that you want to be able to get a couple pulls out of the thing you're trying to make and pick the best one. And if you waste a lot of material, then you run out of material, and it sucks. So yeah, I recommend still, even though you can buy these things now, it's still so much more cost effective. I want to say we spent like $40 on this thing total, including the toaster oven, which I'm sure I'll go into.
Design is based on one that Fon Davis did. He had a video right there that
Yeah,
you want to go check out. Very similar to how I did this one. He did some different stuff with the frame, so definitely go check that one out. In fact, if you want to make a really big, amazing vacuum forming table, Fon's got a video over on the Stan Winston School that is.
There you go. Good job, Haskell.
Good. Hey, good job, me, Britt, and Bill, for remembering all that.
Also, keep in mind that this can be done for.
Also, another pause real quick. Recently, over on the Tessa channel, Adam sat down with Fon to reminisce over their days as model makers at Industrial Light and Magic. I recommend you go watch it. It's great. You can tell they speak the same language. They're cut from the same cloth.
I think your super glue version there is the This Is Bill's super glue.
Oh yeah, because Jamie, my sister-in-law, left one day. They were visiting and she left with my super glue.
Really, really cheap. If you buy your vacuum and your toaster oven used, you can get them really cheap, and you can do it with fairly basic tools. I would say if you had to, you could probably do all of this for under, I don't know, $50. Let's get started. First is the frame. I bought all of these
I have my own sound effects.
at the hardware store, and some of them at the office supply store. The bulk of the frame is made from aluminum angle pieces.
I still I don't know why I still lean on that a lot. It's just a material that I'm really familiar with.
Yeah, it's already straight
Mm-hmm.
and has a 90-degree
Yeah.
framing thing on it.
I noticed we've been watching Van Neistat's videos recently, and he uses a lot of metal angle pieces to attach like wood and stuff because he understands that material or that specific piece of hardware, so he just uses it all the time. I kind of feel like I fall into that trap a lot with certain things. I love that angled aluminum. I have a ton of it downstairs. And I use it for lots of stuff.
A miter box and a hacksaw
there
to
you
cut
go.
them, or a bandsaw to cut them at that nice 45-degree angle. I cut mine to length so that they would fit inside of the metal tray that comes with my toaster oven. And then once I had the pieces all cut out, I lined up the corners using a 1, 2, 3 block.
Oh, what can't they do?
Then I could put the angled
These are the angle
down braces
corner, the thingies that I was
I
talking
can
about.
put those
the
down
Van Neistat
and draw where I
lights.
need to drill a bunch of holes. Then I went to my drill press. Of course, you could use a handheld drill if you've got it.
It's really kind of amazing
And I
seeing the shop behind me when we've really just sort of finished putting it together downstairs again,
Yeah,
and it's
so
totally different.
drilled out the holes for these screws, but I also countersunk
Tell you
them
what,
on
though,
the other
the
side.
B-roll in this video
so that
is
the
nice.
screws I was using could lay flush. This surface is where it's going to clamp down on your plastic, and you don't want your screw heads being proud. Then I could screw together all of the corners of my frame. This left a frame that is nice and sturdy. Of course, this needs to be...
Brittany and I are like time-lapse snobs a little bit.
That was a good time lapse.
I think we did a good job on that one. I like when a time-lapse shows, before the time-lapse, they show what you're doing in detail, in regular motion, and then the time-lapse shows like, oh, we did that 5 more times in rapid succession. I'm proud of myself for putting that together.
clamped together with a...
Frequently, we'll see people do time lapses where it just shows the whole thing from beginning to end really fast, and it's difficult to tell what's going on.
Piece for your plastic. So I made 2 of them. Ta-da!
Just
That
like
is
that.
Frame to cut out the exact size of your plastic. When
You should
it
do an
comes to
edit where every
vacuum
time you say
forming.
ta-da.
And then using
Yeah.
Put 'em all
some
over
Oh
there.
my god.
your plastic gets clamped
There's
between
a-
your 2.
I would love to do that with like go through all our videos and pull out fun segments and silly things like that. But there's like 700 videos to go through.
frame pieces holding it perfectly in place. For my setup, I also cut a hole out of the tray that goes in the toaster oven so that my frame could fit
See, okay,
right in there.
pause it. That tray, I remember you had such trouble cutting through. Like,
What did I end up using? A rotary tool, maybe?
Yeah, like you were going through like discs, like rotary tool discs, and it was just like whatever that's made out of. It's like a steel.
Yeah, just steel. I think an angle grinder probably would have been the way to do it.
Yeah. But that was glossed over in the video.
Yeah,
That was
I
very
cut a
good.
hole in it somehow.
Slide the whole thing into the toaster oven, holding it suspended over the heating elements. Of course, if you don't have a setup quite like this, you could suspend it a number of different ways. You could just use some spring clamps and hold it during the heating process.
That's how I do it
Or
now.
you can put those 1, 2, 3 blocks in there and rest your frame on top of it. You've got a lot of options.
Now that I think about it, that tray piece with the hole cut in it, I have no idea where that went.
Oh yeah, we lost that.
I was just thinking, we don't use that one anymore.
No.
Where did that go?
Toasters. I need one. Be right back.
Oh, I'm getting a toaster.
So good.
We should have cut back. Actually, at the end of the video, cut back to you coming out to
Yeah.
look for it. That would have been good. A little follow up.
This is our old toaster. We decided it was time to retire it and get a new one. Whatever toaster you go with, sure, you could buy a new one, but get a used one from a second
Okay, so that's why we don't use that tray anymore.
Yeah,
we got a different
You
toaster
did.
oven.
Maybe this one stopped working.
Yeah, I
remember.
mean the second one we bought from Goodwill for like $8.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like, I don't remember it being black.
Me neither.
The important thing is, once you use plastic in this, don't use it for food anymore. That's a bad idea. The next thing we need is our vacuum form table. This is just a wooden box with holes in it. I made my holes out of pegboard because I had some lying around. I just traced it out using my frame because this frame is gonna go all the way over it. Then I cut out my wood pieces using my favorite saw, I like my bandsaw. Whatever saw you've got will work just fine. When you cut out the
That's showing
side
3 different
pieces
saws.
for your vacuum
Put a lot of
pump
effort into this
you
video.
want to drill a hole in one of those sides. This is for the hose for your vacuum to go into. I used a Forstner bit on my drill press to drill out the hole. It was just a little bit small, which is good. You want it to be snug. I used a drum sanding bit on my drill press
That's
to
before you had a
widen that
spindle
hole
sander.
just
Yeah,
a
I love
bit.
that spindle
Again,
sander.
though, I want that to be nice and snug, to have a nice seal. Then all my box pieces were assembled. You could just wood glue these together with some clamps. That would probably hold it just fine. Or use some screws or nails, or in my case, a nail gun, because it's awesome.
Yeah,
to
nail
put
guns
the
are
whole
awesome.
thing together. And that's it. You
Actually,
got all the pieces.
I have that 3D printing box I built with Bob. I was trying to find a place for it yesterday, and I was inspecting it. It's one of the first things I put together with a nail gun, and there are nails shooting out of everywhere in that thing. Or I missed, and I'm like, eighth of an inch to the left. Up, nailed it. Cool.
And you just
I didn't
left
pull
it?
the other one out. There's just all sorts of, like, don't reach your hand in there. You'll catch a nail.
You need to start vacuum forming stuff. Now, there are lots of techniques and materials you can use to make vacuum forming bucks, and we'll go into that in a future video. But
Wonder
for
if
this
we
one, I
ever
just
did.
grabbed whatever
Probably
I had
not.
laying around, like a sanding block. Why don't I just do a vacuum form pull of that? Your plastic material gets clamped into your frame. For this one, I used a thin piece of styrene plastic, but you could use PETG or acrylic or ABS plastic. I like the styrene. It gets
Styrene's
clamped
so
into the
easy.
frame, slid into the
PETG
toaster,
too
and
is
then
so
you turn
easy to
the
vacuum
toaster on.
form.
I use
Acrylic
the
tends to bubble,
post settings
polycarbonate.
so that it had heat
I
on
think
top and
gets
bottom.
moisture in it too.
And then you wait. It shouldn't take too long.
These are great shots.
You'll see it
It's
start to bow on the
No
bottom.
wonder this
You don't
video
want
is so
that to
popular.
touch
Huh?
any of the heating elements, but once it does bow significantly, it's ready to go. Put your vacuum form buck on the little table. Turn on your vacuum. Then pull out your frame. Using gloves, it's going to be really hot. And then press that whole thing right down on your vacuum form buck. Pull the air out and suction it right down to the surface of your piece. Then you can let it cool and trim off the extra
you
plastic
go.
and
It's that
pull
easy.
your
It's not
plastic
that
off of
easy.
your vacuum form buck. This leaves a thin
lot of,
shell that is exactly the outside copy of
I don't know, there's a
your
lot of
original
fungibility
piece.
in
And
the
there you go.
process.
You have successfully
Yeah,
vacuum
you showed a
formed
different
a
piece.
thing.
Mhm.
There are
That's
some
part of your
considerations to
Robin
make,
belt.
of course. Don't use
Yeah, it was,
PVC
that's right.
plastic in something
I
like
gave
this.
that
It's a
to
really bad idea.
Kai, I
It's
think.
really toxic. Like I said, I like styrene and PETG, especially if I'm making visors. I use the PETG plastic because it's clear. Also, your vacuum form buck will heat up because you're putting a hot piece of plastic on it. Don't use anything that could melt. I like using hydrocal for the vacuum form bucks that I do normally. Again, we'll dive into that deeper in a
I guess
future
you did
video.
with the snake
Also,
eyes
try to
visor.
avoid
Yeah,
deep
yeah.
undercuts anywhere that the plastic will have.
We also had a 3D printing video where we did a visor and we did a mold and hydrocal and all that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then that Dragon Priest mask, that little one, we might have shown off in a 3D printing
Yeah, I
video.
bet we did.
But yeah.
Trouble getting pulled off of your model. That's it. Everything you need to know to build up your own vacuum forming machine. Thanks for checking out the
All
video,
right.
you guys.
Very
We have
concise,
some
like, to the
projects
point.
coming up that will utilize
I'm still
this
impressed
here,
with that video.
So make sure you subscribe.
It reminds me,
and you will not
we made
miss
a
them.
bigger
also,
one
of course, check
for a
out
bigger
some of
toaster
our other
oven that
costume
Eric
making
Jones
videos. There's a
from
whole
Core Geek
bunch of them in there.
Creations
We're almost at like
brought down and let us
300
borrow.
videos.
Right.
So dive
so
in there.
you can't
and
just
check
get a
them out.
bigger,
Of course,
little bigger
if you make
toaster
your
oven and make
own
a slightly
vacuum
bigger
forming
one.
machine, I want to know about it. So let me know in the comments down below, or yell at me on Twitter. That's at Chinbeard.
Don't yell at him.
Bill, have you seen the toaster?
Oh,
Uh-oh. I gotta go.
we did come back to it.
Yay!
Yeah. We're so clever. That was great. Let me stop this thing from recording here. There we go. That was super great. And the other thing is, like, it's 5 years later still totally relevant. Like, if you do exactly that for your own homemade vacuum form machine, it'll work out awesome. And the one we still have and use is set up pretty much exactly like that.
Yeah, I think it's a good example of something that the industrial version is way better, but the DIY at home one does work.
Totally. Yeah.
Like if a shop vac doesn't pull a vacuum well enough as like a tank of evacuated air, like sucking it out, that does way better. But everyone should have a shop vac, so we can just stick that on there. At one point, we used our house vacuum too. I remember. Yeah. I think it was for the Ritzy Shield. We used the normal vacuum, and it's good enough.
Sure, good enough. Most hobby applications, especially if you only need like 1 or 2 pulls, and maybe you have to touch them up a little bit because you got some spider webbing on it. The homemade hobby machine will do great. Thanks for joining us, you guys. Happy Friday. Hope you've had a wonderful week. We've been having a lot of fun here in our little shop, and hopefully you're having fun in yours. That'll wrap it up. This trip down memory lane was fantastic, and I appreciate you guys joining us, and we appreciate the support. Keep that up, and we'll see you next week. Some more tomfoolery from the basement.